G'day guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a horror film from New Zealand, English language, released in the year 2010, directed by David Blythe, and this film is called Wound. Now, Wound is about the deterioration of this woman's mental state. She has been going through hell. When she was young, she was molested by her father, and she's also been a victim of countless other sort of horrific things. So she's been subjected to a lot of sexual abuse, and as a result of that, her sanity is just slowly creeping away. So on top of all these complications, she has a daughter that she hasn't seen for a very long time, and the daughter wants to be reunited with her. So when the father of this woman wants to be reunited with her again, then things get way too hard for this woman, and she is going on a hellish journey of insanity that she might never return from. So whether or not that is the case is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on Wound. I didn't know what to expect with this film. The only reason I wanted to get it is because New Zealand tried to ban this film. So for that very reason, I wanted to see it. A lot of these films where they say they've tried to be banned, that is a selling point. So I think it's, when it comes to these countries trying to ban films, I think it's just having the reverse effect. Is that these people, the classification boards, don't want these people to see this, therefore people are going to go and see it. So I think it's just a little bit, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, because it just makes people want to go out there and see it. So for that particular reason that New Zealand wanted it banned, that's the reason why I just wanted to give it a go, because I was expecting something extreme. And extreme is exactly what I got. This movie takes on incest, rape, all kinds of sexual violence. There are some really morbid scenes of just truly disgusting things, and it's the movie that's going to provoke a lot of people in a very angry way. So I think David Blythe is a very fascinating director, because he's not afraid to go that extra step. And this movie symbolises everything that is wrong with the Australian Classification Board, because they have passed this uncut. New Zealand passed it uncut after trying to get it banned, and the Australian Board of Classification have passed this one uncut. Yet they didn't pass Found totally uncut. Now, Found is a horror film from the United States, and it does depict some sexual violence, and I could understand in some degree why they censored it. Although I don't agree with that, I can see that why they did that. But with Wound, it still has a lot of sexual violence, but that's left uncut. So there's a lot of inconsistencies, and I think Wound really does symbolise how bad the classification board here in Australia is that they'll ban something, will censor something, and then they won't censor another film. So Wound is a classic example of the inconsistencies in the Australian Classification Board, and I'm really glad that I got an opportunity to see Wound in its uncut glory. So as a movie, I thought the cinematography is very nightmarish. I thought the way that the director has captured this woman's descent into madness was very fascinating, extremely awkward, very uncomfortable. As I said, there's a lot of sexual violence, there's a lot of violence, some mutilation of genitals, all kinds of horrific things that I wasn't expecting. So David Blythe is an unknown director, but after this I've sat up and I've taken notice, because this is a guy's balls, and I think Australia/New Zealand, they really need directors like this, and David Blythe is definitely a director out there, along with Chris Sun from Australia, that is definitely the future of the horror sort of genre in the land down under. So the acting was very good, especially from the lead lady. I thought her descent into madness was very believable, it was very authentic. I thought it was a very strange film, it's extremely bizarre. And if you like bizarre movies, you're going to really like this one. I thought that it didn't really feel like it had control, therefore it portrayed the madness very well, because obviously if you're going into a descent of madness, you've got no control, and the overall feeling of the film, it feels like it's lacking a direction, and that's exactly what the mind that I would think of someone who's just losing the plot completely. And I thought she was a very sympathetic character. She betrayed all the emotions in a very realistic way, and at no point did you ever think that she was reading from a script. And the supporting cast of the younger girl who plays the daughter, I thought she was very good, and surprisingly very vicious, this young girl. And some of the things that she does in the film are very startling. And then you've got the relationship between this mother and her father, and I thought that was really disturbing. There's one scene in it especially, we actually get to see the father raping the daughter, and so that's not a spoiler, don't worry, because right at the start they do clarify the fact that she is a victim of sexual abuse. But as I said, David Blythe dares to go that extra step further, and that's everything that I feel a horror fan will want. I thought the mixing of colours, as I said, it's a very surreal film. Thought the soundtrack was great, it just made a very strange atmosphere, and the only thing I had a problem with in Wound was the end. I thought it was a little bit of a cop-out, it was kind of silly, and once you see the end of the film, you think to yourself that you've seen that kind of thing before, and it was just a cheap trick in order to splash as many insane sort of moments in the film without really needing a conclusion that makes sense. So that's the only thing I didn't like about Wound. This got a very low rating, only 3.3 on IMDb, but that is a classic case of not believing what you see, because if you're a fan of the extreme cinema, if you're a fan of movies that will get you out of your comfort zone, Wound is definitely one to check out. It's not a brilliant film, but I thought the acting was very good, the scenes of violence really hit home, and the overall feeling of insanity was ever present. So it's, for a lower budget film, I thought it was really, really well made, and David Blythe, as I said, along with Chris Sun, are the ones to look for as far as horror down under. So overall, for Wound, I'm going to give it 3 stars, and it's coming recommended. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.